Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. This week we watched Mad Max, the 1979 action sci-fi film from George Miller. I'm Dylan. Joining me, as always, are Zach, Ben,
Whoop, whoop.
and Cam. And you may recognize our insane clown posse calls because this week's cocktail is the Mad Max from Huffington Post. It is movie-themed drinks to toast with at your Oscars party this year. Now, obviously not this year. This is from 2016. I believe the cocktail is linked to Fury Road more so. It is a Mad Max. They wanted a rugged cocktail to represent the desert wasteland. It's not quite a desert yet in this movie. And Fury Road.
But this is not. This is just like a few years after 1979 or whatever.
It's a not so distant future from 30 years in the past.
Well, it's the start. The second one really like steps into like the whole gasoline stuff. This one it's kind of doing it. Like those guys are like scavenging for gas. But the second one is more like the world is reliant on like the fossil fuels and stuff, and they're running out.
Weird. What's that like?
Yeah, I don't know. If they just all had Teslas, you know, that I mean, well, it might be even more of a road warrior because that one dude just ran in those cops in Lansing.
That was your mother's nickname in college.
The Road Warrior?
The Road Warrior, yeah.
Oh, I thought her nickname was the Nightrider.
That was our night
She
job.
was toe cutter.
Or the town bicycle.
She was handy because she had
Well,
legs.
that one was in
And
the
also,
movie as well.
and also because it was stolen from Dylan's apartment.
Oh, too soon.
Oh.
Too soon.
Yeah, that's way too soon.
The
Whoop,
police
whoop.
still haven't done anything about it, you know, and they never will.
Explain why I'm making ICP noises.
So the Mad Max is our cocktail. It's 2 ounces of 10-cup whiskey of your choice, 1 ounce of rock and rye from Faygo, the drink of choice of the Juggalos, beloved fans of the Insane Clown Posse. Shout out to Southeast Michigan. 1 ounce of hibiscus tea and a half ounce of lime juice. Shake all your ingredients over ice, pour into a rock glass. Don't shake your pop in your cocktails. That's just weird.
Yeah, float
Don't
that
do
bad boy.
If you shake your pop in your cocktail, you're gonna have a bad time.
Well, it just builds up even more pressure in the tumbler.
If you shake your pop in your cocktail, send us a photo to cocktailsandclassics@gmail.com.
It's just Cocktails Classics.
Not the one I've been sending stuff to.
Oh, shit, somebody random's getting them then.
Is that why you're not replying to my emails? I come up with good
Yeah.
topics for the shows, guys.
That's weird. I'm sure some guy out there has just been getting a bunch of emails of I know who you are and where you live. P.S. Here's a picture of my cocktail.
Thought that was going somewhere
Excuse
else.
No.
Here's a picture of my cocktail.
You know, I really set myself up for that one, and I didn't even mean to.
I don't mind this drink. I thought it was going to be a little weirder than it is. I feel like the hibiscus doesn't really come through that much for me.
Yeah, the tea's a bit odd, but I like rock and rye quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you could leave the tea out of this, and it would be pretty much just as good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I get a lot of hibiscus out of it, but I do really enjoy it. I would drink it again. I don't think I could drink several, just because that much Faygo would definitely give me a stomachache with how much sugar is in there.
I would show up with clown makeup to my next family gathering if I drank any more Faygo.
Oh,
I grew up in the South, or not grew up in the South. I live in the South now. They don't have Faygo at Publix apparently, so I went with Dr. Pepper and cream soda. I assume it tastes like rock and rye. I never had rock and rye. I always wanted to try it because everyone that I know in Michigan was like, "Oh, rock and rye's the best." And I'm like, "Yeah, Red Pop's pretty good though, right?"
I'm a big Red Pop fan.
Check out the show notes below. Find the recipe for the Mad Max and make yourself one. Send us a picture of it at Cocktails and Classics Pod on Instagram. Use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics. Tell us your thoughts as well. We want to know if you liked this. Do we do too much whiskey drinks?
no.
No?
Definitely not that one.
Would you like a whiskey drink Or a
or
vodka
a
drink.
lager drink.
We do a gin every now and then, guys. Let's be fair.
No tequila.
We do. We did do like 3 martini variations.
Yeah, we probably don't do enough tequila.
We should actually do more tequila. That is a mistake. We should do more tequila.
I was making a Chumbawamba reference, but okay.
I mean, this is the last episode of season 2, right?
Actually, Zach, I think you're right. I think this is episode 52, which means we've been doing this full
For
year.
a year. Whew.
Catch you guys on the flippity flip.
God, this is what it's like to spend a year and living hell.
We're almost out of it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there.
No,
is.
he meant having to get on a podcast with us every
Same.
week.
There is light at the end of the tunnel of that too. We're gonna watch Food Fight and never
No,
want to do
Pat.
another one again. So
Mad Max is a 1979 film. It's an action-adventure sci-fi from George Miller, famed director of all the Mad Maxes.
and that's it.
Happy Feet, Babe Pig in the City.
Wait, he really did Happy Feet?
Yeah, stars
What the fuck?
pre-anti-Semitic rant Mel Gibson.
Well, pre-taped anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Mel
Yeah,
Gibson.
I get the sense that voicemail that was leaked wasn't his first time throwing those terms around. They kind of rolled off the
Sounded
tongue.
very comfortable with them. Yeah.
Hugh Keys Byrne, who was Toe Cutter, he actually came back for Fury Road and played Immortan Joe. I did not know that.
Oh,
Yeah, and
he
I
just passed
believe,
away last year.
I was gonna say, yeah, throw out a rest in peace. I think he just
Yeah.
passed away not too long ago. Yeah, in December.
I feel like I haven't listened to Mel Gibson oh, he's from New York, really? Okay, so that was an accent that he did. I was gonna say I didn't know if he was actually Australian, and I've just never heard him ever speak in an Australian accent before.
I thought he was Australian.
I did too, but he was born in New York, according to IMDb. So
Wow.
Well, okay, hold on. If you look at his mini bio, him and his family moved to Australia in the late 1960s. So it's not like he had just picked up this accent. He had been in Australia since the late 60s. So he'd been there for almost a decade by the time they did this movie.
Mad Max is the story of a highway policeman. He's basically like Chips, set in a post-apocalyptic Australia,
And
a
with
few
cars.
years in the future of 1980.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, you.
I like to think
you're a
that's
big
how he
fan of
pitched
Chips?
it. I
He's
like
like,
to
yeah,
think-
you know that show Chips? It's
So imagine Chips, right? But it's in a post-apocalyptic future.
what is Chips?
Okay. Oh,
California Highway Police.
Oh,
I think it's
it's,
California
it's a
Highway
show?
Patrol.
I see.
Yeah,
Eric
it's
Estrada.
yeah, and then Dak Shepard did like a remake,
Yeah.
Oh,
like a movie.
all right.
With,
Yep.
I think Michael Pena or somebody, right?
Him and Michael Pena. Yeah.
It's like a comedy, like
Yeah, the Dak
sitcom
Shepard one's
show.
like is like no, well, I don't think it was originally set to be a sitcom when it was originally on. It was supposed to be just your kind of standard cop show. When Dak Shepard made it, he did it kind of turning it into a comedy, like everyone did.
Wow. Was
throughout-
that Michael
from-
Pena's start?
No,
no.
I mean, is that when he started dominating?
he'd already been in like End of Watch by then. Yeah, Dak Shepard Chips was made the same way Ben Stiller made Starsky and Hutch. Badly.
Mad Max currently sits at a 6.9 out of 10. So not really. It doesn't fit with the rest of our March so far, because the rest of our March was on the cusp or on the list, and around like the hundreds. But Mad Max, I would say it's more of a cult classic.
I mean, it did spawn an entire series. Yeah,
Series.
I'd say it is a cult classic, but it also did inspire four movies, right? Including this.
Yeah.
I think this movie is also in general just kind of like it's a popcorn flick, which can be a classic. You know,
And Fury Road.
not every
I
classic.
feel like it got nominated for some Oscars, right?
Probably special effects. I've seen pieces of this one before, but I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. Had anyone seen it before?
No.
No, sir.
Nope.
I have seen Fury Road.
I have also seen Fury Road.
I think the same with like Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome. Like I've seen pieces, just caught them on like TV and stuff growing up. This movie really just got into it. Like in the first like minute, you know, you're already in a car chase
Yeah.
with
there's
the
a lot of
Nightrider.
action.
I am the Nightrider.
Well, first we have to start off with some sort of weird dude using a
Sniper scope to
sniper
perv on
scope
some people.
to,
Yeah.
to be a peeping
I
Tom.
mean, they were also having sex in the middle of a, like,
Yeah, so that makes
I'm
it
not saying
okay.
it makes it okay. I'm just saying if you have sex in a public place, like, are you really gonna get mad that people are looking? You know?
I mean, they were in a field, and I had to wonder who snuck up on who, the couple having sex or the cops. And how did you not notice?
Probably the cops. No,
There's
they
not
were
a-
definitely creeping.
There's not a tree in
Well,
sight.
like they were definitely creeping and watching, which is not great. Like if that happens, you should like tell them, be like, "We can see you, hello," and then they maybe run off. You know, so they did after they heard the sirens.
I thought we were already beyond Max losing his wife and kid and like the world was already gone because I was expecting that person with the sniper scope to like shoot that couple. Like I thought he was a bad guy.
Just
Just
destroy
to be
them.
honest.
I thought the same exact thing.
I was expecting him to be like in that kind of zone when they're talking over the radio and it keeps cutting to like the person who it doesn't show their face, but they're like sitting in the car or like doing everything. And it's like, okay, this is obviously supposed to be the hero of the movie.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then when it turned out that like he's just like a normal dude, I'm like, oh, I expected him to have a lot more tragedy so far. I just had to wait. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. They really just went for it when they fucking ran over his wife and child.
Oh, no kidding. And we got the Pet Cemetery shot with the shoe bouncing down the highway.
Yeah.
I was like the Leonardo DiCaprio me. I was like, I know what that is. I know what that is.
They kind of teased it earlier on because that kid was out in the street and then they like part the kid and I was like, they really almost did it. And then they do it. What was everyone's like initial thoughts upon seeing Mad Max for the first time?
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a little more. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I couldn't get into this one. I don't know. I liked Fury Road. I just did not like this one at all. Like, I don't know. Am I the only one? Like, I feel like it sucked, honestly.
I wasn't a big fan. I feel like this movie, it just, like Dylan said, it like credits are done. This movie just fucking goes, and if you're not on board, you can get lost super easy. There were also some more technical things I didn't like. The audio was the biggest pain in the butt for me. It seemed like the music was always too loud, and the talking was too quiet.
The dialogue was really hard to understand at the beginning. Like I feel like it was super low with like all the like revving engines and shit, and then they have thick ass Australian accents, which is hard to understand.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right.
To me, this is kind of, I feel like it's almost like Grindhouse, like those like 70s, 80s, just like Ben said, popcorn flicks, where it's like it just gets into it, you just tune out, sort of like you're not really in it for. I mean, it kind of tries to have a heart with like building the character of like the wife and child, and so Max has a family and he's a family man. But it's like it just gets right into the action. It doesn't necessarily have a plot per se because it's like we know absolutely nothing about the world. Like he's like a cop that can kill people by running them off the road, and that's cool, I guess. You know, and it's just kind of like you sit back and you enjoy it in the moment. I don't think it's not trying to be anything it's not.
Yeah, just sound wise, I feel like they could have, like even that scene where you get to meet his wife, and it's the music is just so intense, regardless of what emotion you're supposed to feel. It felt over the top.
I wonder if that's one of the things though, like, because I know there's a lot of movies that I've watched that have that, and it's like background noise and shit is always super loud, and then you can't hear what's being said, and then as soon as you turn up the volume, gunfire or explosions or something shake the walls of your fucking house.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious if that's something that's on like the streaming end of it. I don't know. Obviously, I never saw it in theaters, but this was a popcorn flick, and I enjoyed it. That there were a couple things that I feel like we probably could have. I get introducing Max's family and all of that, but we got like 20 minutes of him being in his like rampage at the end of the
Yeah.
movie.
I feel like you could have
Like,
really
why-
extended
I would have
it.
been more
Why not?
interested.
Why not
in
just
that.
sell it? Why not just sell it like after they burn his friend alive?
Or,
There you go. There's his
or have
reason.
the tragedy,
There-
or have
there's
his
that.
wife and son dying way earlier in the movie, and then have like, because it's an hour and a
Yeah,
half movie,
it's
and
just-
yeah, like you said, like it's literally 20 minutes of him, and it's not even that big of a rampage. Honestly, he kills what, like 3 people?
He kills like quite a few of the bikers on the bridge.
That's true. Well, they just
But
fall
I
into
just
the water,
think-
right? Did
I
they actually
just-
die?
I don't know. I'm gonna assume they did. It's.
I mean, that's really neither here nor
that's a
there. I
pretty
do
big
agree with you.
fall.
I feel like I don't get what this movie was trying to be. Like,
But well, I think it was trying to be like a mix between an action movie and a car movie.
Yeah.
But I just think
I just don't like the execution, I suppose.
just think
I don't know.
it could have been so much more interesting to follow him trying to track down like the biker gang than him just like us following his family. Which, can we just talk real quick? How terrible of parents they are.
They're pretty bad.
Half the movie I'm sitting there going, who's watching the kid?
Yeah.
What's your son?
They're just gone.
When he has the gun in the one scene,
Well, I'm trying to think. When they're sitting there, like he dives off the rope, kind of swings into the pond, and then you look up and she's just sitting there. Where the fuck is the kid? Where is your son? Dear God, people, be a parent
back of
for
the-
Christ's sake.
in the back of the
Yeah,
like
they just
shaggin'
left
wagon.
him in the back of the van down by the river. I mean, dear God, that just so
Every vehicle has like fucking fur and carpet in it. Like, yeah,
Dude, every vehicle looks like it's straight out of a prog rock video. Like, I kept waiting for someone to just have a sweet mural painted on the side of their panel van.
I feel like it was a really weird, quick decline, of society. Like 3 years, we're already into like shitty car taste. That's very quick. I feel like it should last.
Did they say 3 years? I thought they said in the not
It
so
said
distant
3
future.
years in the future, in the beginning of the movie. I'm pretty sure.
I think it said a few years.
Okay, a few years is
yeah. I
2.
think it just says
Yeah,
a few
So
years.
it's even worse.
What?
All right.
A couple.
Okay, a
is
few
two.
is 3 then. All right, never mind. We're back
Oh my
to where I
God,
was.
This is not the discussion I thought we'd be having.
I also don't think they meant it that. I think they just meant that as in like multiple years, but not like super far away.
Well, then why'd they use a few?
couldn't
That's a
say-
very specific.
You're right.
Oh, you're
You
right. They
call
should
them
have said
X
a
then.
long, long time from now.
I mean, okay, but it didn't feel.
But maybe not
Here's
that
the
far.
thing: it didn't.
because that's
But a little
super
further than
specific.
you
It didn't
think.
feel that post-apocalyptic. Like it didn't feel like it. Like the movie felt like not like I don't know. Like it was like it didn't. I don't know. It couldn't have been that far after the society declines, right? Because like structures are still standing. There's still a semblance of like a police force, kinda.
There's like 4 guys, and they work out of a rundown
I
building.
mean, I get that. It just didn't. I don't know. I also didn't really like
Most
the world.
of the buildings look
I
decrepit.
didn't really like the world they put together.
I don't think
I
it's
didn't think it was
like-
that convincing.
It's not quite post-apocalyptic yet. I think it's like on the downturn.
I think the movie describes itself
it
as
is.
post-apocalyptic.
Well, on IMDb it says a self-destructing world, so
Hmm.
it's like on the edge of it.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be
When
like
you guys figure out
declining.
the semantics, let me know.
Not semantics. I just don't feel like I just didn't buy it. That's all. I didn't like what they built. I guess I didn't like what they wrote as the world for this movie. I didn't think it was very convincing.
On a positive note, I really enjoyed this movie. I just thought it was fun. All of the car chases, like the obviously they shot it at a slower speed and then sped it up in post, like all the like bike scenes and stuff. Crazy. I had to look up the budget. So the budget I think was like 300,000.
Yep.
In 79, which is like $1 million now. But I'm like, they're fucking driving through motorhomes. They flip like 100 cars. destroy multiple motorcycles. They got guys jumping off a cliff onto a tanker. I was like, holy crap, man. This movie is crazy.
Okay, did anyone see when
The dude
Max
got hit in the
runs through
back
the
of the head?
bikers? Yes.
What?
Oh my god. Yes, that dude just took a bike to the fucking head. Oh my god, I hope that dude got paid extra.
I don't think anybody got paid.
On
in
the
this movie.
bridge.
So he,
On the bridge.
he crashes on the bridge, and it cuts to the dude like sliding off the bike, and like as he comes to a to a stop, a bike comes from behind and just smacks him in the
God.
back of the head, and then just keeps moving, and then the camera just cuts
Oh,
immediately.
jeez.
Oh, it was
Yeah, I was
so
like,
great.
is that guy all right?
I will say the director's practical effects and stuff like that are
I
good.
kind of wanted to look and see if there were any fatalities making this, because that dude took a bike to the back of the head, and it might have done.
He
some
had a
damage.
helmet on, though, I think, right? If I remember correctly.
I mean, yes, he did.
Okay, yeah.
They were pretty good about being safe in this movie, where they were all wearing helmets.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch all the way through the end of the credits, but I feel like this is a movie that would have ended with like Mad Max will return, because I feel like this was definitely made to be kind of setting up for more, especially the way it ended.
Yeah, it feels like a what's next type of movie.
Well, just the fact that like when it ends, he's just driving, and it's like, okay, there's really no explanation on what's going on. It feels like it was left for like, we're going to do more of these.
I'm still waiting for Spaceballs 2, so don't hold your breath.
God, what a savage though at the end. Like when he like makes the kid like cuff himself to the thing, and he's like, "Well, if you try to cut through the chain, it'll take you about 10 minutes, but in 5 minutes you get through your leg, but the gas
If
will
you're
be there
lucky."
in 7 or something."
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus.
Good, fuck that guy.
That was some real saw shit.
It's so wild that literally like
True.
the quote police person, officer, whatever you want to call it, saw him doing the things, and then later the next day they were like, "Well, no one showed up, so you're free to go." Like what? Like it literally brought him in while he was chaining that
Well,
one girl.
They didn't see him.
Well, he had him in.
Do
He had that girl
anything.
in a chain and like next to like the destroyed car, you know, and
I mean, look, I'm not going to argue whether or not I think he was guilty. I'm just going to say them walking up to the scene, he probably couldn't be enough to mark that in. But I also think it's supposed to show that the whole thing's kind of corrupt and in decay.
right.
It's supposed to go on to build the world that you don't believe in.
Even with the hand thing, it's like, oh well, if nobody claims it, it's free. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's like what the fuck? It's fucking weird.
What did you guys think about Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance showing up in the movie as like the villain's henchman?
What?
Yeah, I was like, does he have like makeup on? Why does he look like Boy George?
He looks exactly like, talking about the guy with the white hair, looks exactly like the lead singer from My
Oh.
Chemical Romance like 20 years ago.
Oh, Bubba?
Yeah, Bubba.
I'm sitting here watching this movie and I'm like, oh my god, I cannot get that or William Wallace out of my head as I'm watching these two people roam around in Australia.
That's weird, because I always think of Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. So like,
Okay.
it's always Riggs to me.
Okay.
I will say it was weird though seeing him so young, because as I'm watching the movie, I just kept thinking to myself, his head looks way too big for his body. he hasn't grown into his body yet, and
Yeah.
it just looks weird.
It's interesting after like seeing like Fury Road and then coming back to the origins and like seeing how George Miller has like evolved this world and like some of the aspects that he's kept, like some of the crazy like motorcycle and car designs, the like outfits that people wear, and like the villains, like Toe Cutter. A lot of the just like, I guess I want to say like car porn, like metal destruction. I feel like there's like an actual term for it, but
I think they call
just
it
like all of
bayness.
that. Excuse me?
The term now is bayness, or is it like Michael Bayness? How Michael
I
Bayness
wouldn't
is
say-
movie.
I wouldn't say this movie is like near Michael Bay. I would say George Miller has like his own style different from Michael Bay.
It seemed a lot more like mechanical in terms of like the crushings and everything like that versus explosions.
Well, I would say Michael Bay's movies are more like a music video, like a feature-length music video. I feel like this doesn't feel like that. This feels to me like something I would go to a drive-in and watch.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like a cold beer in my hand, maybe a Mad Max, and I'm just watching fucking dudes chase down each other in high-speed chases.
I would agree with you that I did like some of the kind of car designs and different things like that. The one that was really cool to me was the people in the motorcycle, where like the person was in the sidecar, like the overhead latch came down. I was like, fuck, that's cool. Why don't we have those now? Like, that would be
It's like
sweet.
a three-wheeler, but it was like offset or something, it looked like.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a
Yeah.
motorcycle with a sidecar,
It
but it
looked
was all
cool.
attached.
Yeah.
I don't. It just looked different, but in a way that I hadn't seen, and I thought that was really cool.
Also, Fifi, interesting like outfit choice when he's watering his plants at home and he's shirtless, smoking a cigar with like that
my
weird
God.
tie type thing. I was like, what the
Yeah, it's
fuck
like a
is going
weird
on?
Scarf. He looked just like a out of shape Chippendales act or something.
Oh,
You know that was his idea. I was
Really?
prepping for the trivia, and Roger Ward was like, "You know what? If I'm gonna be in this movie and I'm gonna do this, I'm wearing this scarf." It's probably a bad idea. I think you lose a lot of the intimidation from like having no
What?
shirt on and being kind of built, and then you throw on a scarf.
But I don't think he was. I don't think his character was really that intimidating, unless he was like actually when he was doing cop shit.
Yeah.
But like when anyone went up and talked to him, it's not like he was intimidating at all. He was actually like he seemed pretty down to earth for what you'd expect, kind of like the command or whatever to be.
Yeah, but if you're gonna be in that world, you got to be a little intimidating, you know. Otherwise, people run over your wife and kids with a motorcycle or something.
Well, you can be intimidating on, when you're down dealing with people, but when it's just you and you're just chilling with your plants and your birds, wear
Take
what
your
you
shirt
want,
off,
man.
throw a scarf on. I see what you mean.
Maybe he always had the scarf on. Maybe he just took the shirt off. Maybe he's a never nude and that scarf is really like what keeps him going. I do just want to say, like I said, I talked about the fact that kind of like his family kind of dying was really late in the movie. The outside of Johnny Boy, I feel like the deaths of like the main villains just kind of felt weak.
yeah.
The way he killed Toe Cutter by like just kind of bumping the bike and then he got ran over. Like, yeah, that's a great death for like one of the gang members.
Right, not like the main villain.
But for the main bad guy, that's it. Like we could do better. We could have done better. I think Nightrider had a better death than that guy
Oh,
did.
for sure. Nightrider had like a 10-minute chase scene after him,
And got to give a whole monologue about how he knows Toe Cutter.
Dude, he got to just quote so much Bruce Springsteen for that entire drive.
He kind of looked like
must
Bam
have-
Margera does now.
George Miller.
Like, honestly, look at a picture of Bam Margera's washed up
Yeah, I
ass now,
guess so.
and look at a picture of Nightrider, and they look exactly the same. It's not great.
Bam Margera is Nightrider.
To be fair though, Bam Margera has been through some shit.
I mean, a lot of it
Well, I
self-inflicted.
mean, anytime you spend years doing stupid shit for money and you put yourself in enough pain
We're
that you
not
have to
even gonna
constantly
get
take
into the blame.
painkillers.
We're not gonna get into whose fault it is. I'm just saying. Dude has put himself through some fucking shit.
Well, that's true.
For our
Yeah, but everybody
entertainment.
like Steve-O's doing better now. Johnny Knoxville's doing better now. Bam's just falling off the deep end, man. I don't know what's going on with him.
He looks like the Undertaker.
Bam or Nightrider?
It's like
He
a
looks-
chubby Undertaker.
he
Bam
looks like his
Margera.
dad, but like a little bit thinner.
Oh my god, his dad's got to be dead by now, right? All those times he was woken up in the middle of the night. Rip to Phil Margera.
Please stick around for our new podcast. Talk a la Bam. where we go episode by episode in a deep dive
Of what was this show
through the
called?
classic TV
Viva La Bam.
MTV production,
Viva La
Viva La Bam. That's why I said the podcast would be called Talka La Bam. Dude, I loved Nightrider's skate videos. They were sweet.
I love when Nightrider went on a joyride in a porta potty. That was awesome. He slung himself up and down.
Now that's what I call a shitty situation.
We're gonna go to some ads, and then we'll come back. Zach's gonna put us through his little quiz. So this week's podcast is brought to you by Surfside Sips. They make high-impact glass straws. They're a family-owned company, and what's better than saving the turds? You know,
The turds.
the turds. You know, I'm one of those people who hates using paper straws. Paper straws fucking
Paper straws suck. They
I
are
love
the worst
what
solution.
they do. I love that we're minimizing the use of plastic straws. I enjoy that. Paper straws suck ass.
They suck. They're the worst possible solution because turns out, guess what? Paper and water don't fucking mix, okay? I don't know who came up with it, but it doesn't work. Even though they put coating on it to try and help, it doesn't work. It just gets soggy and you end up throwing it away anyway, and that's just more waste. And so,
But you know what doesn't get soggy? Glass.
yeah.
Glass straws from Surfside Sips. And if you want to get some glass straws from Surfside Sips, you can use coupon code cocktails and classics spelled out. That's cocktails AND classics for 20% off your order.
And if you're looking for a business to support during this time, seems like a good idea.
Okay, so as you know, every episode Zach takes over, gives us a bit of a trivia quiz. So Zach, what do you have for us on Mad Max?
Well, there was a lot of good talk about cars and motorcycles in this podcast so far. So now, one, you can't cut that. So now I figured I'd ask you a question about Mad Max's car. What was the make and model of Max's Interceptor car? Was it A, a Ford Falcon, B, a Ford Probe, or C, a Ford Maverick?
God, this is gonna be like an Australian model. Ugh. I'm gonna go with the Probe.
I'm gonna say Falcon, because he just Falcon punched those dudes off that bridge.
Wow.
I'm going to say the Maverick.
All right, Ben takes the 1-point lead. It was a Ford Falcon. It's a fun fact. A lot of the actors actually had to use their own cars on set for like the non-destructive scenes, you know, to like clutter the parking lots and stuff because the budget was so cheap.
Funny.
Yeah.
Question number 2. At the beginning of the movie, you can see a Greek word pronounced skata spray painted onto a boulder, which roughly translates in English to A, eat shit, B, fuck you, or C, go die.
Eat shit.
It's really bad, because I don't know any Greek. And my family's Greek, so I should probably know that. I also think it's eat shit, because scat sounds like poop.
Yes.
Maybe it means eat shit and die.
Maybe it means I'm gonna rip your head off and shit down your neck. We'll never know.
Oh, what a great movie. We'll have to put that one on the list. But only the first one. The first
I'll
part.
rip your head off and shit down your neck.
I'll say go die.
All right, I got 2 eat shits and a go
Yep.
die. Oh, fuck you guys.
Sounds like a normal Thursday for you.
It's fuck you.
Wow.
So that leaves Ben still in the lead with 1 point. Question number 3. How old is the Hall of Justice? A, 1 year old, B, 3 years old, or C, 5 years old?
All right.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, I was,
It was so hard
It feels
for me.
kind of superhero-y.
Oh, dude, it's straight
Definitely.
Super Frenzy, and it was super hard for me not to hear that. Meanwhile, every time they showed Hall of Justice. on
Even
it.
the camera angles and everything, how they kind of had that blurry effect as they zoomed in on the sign. I
Yeah.
definitely got that vibe.
I'll go for 1 year. I think it just became dilapidated very quickly.
I feel like I'm gonna say 3 years because this movie takes place exactly 3 years after 1979. So
I was gonna say 3 years too because it's exactly quote a few years into the future.
There's a cut of this movie somewhere where at the opening credit it says exactly 3 years from the present
okay,
day.
maybe they should
No
make a
more,
cut
no
that
later.
says sometime in the future. You know,
Sometime in the future, but definitely more than 3 years, but probably less time than a long, long time.
just saying like if few is a very interesting choice of words. It's very very specific. You know.
Well, it's because he wants you to believe that this could happen.
I mean, sure, but it's
This
like,
could
okay,
be
here's
your
the thing.
future.
It must be very.
If
near
he
in
says
the
a
future.
long time from now, everyone's like, "Oh, I don't have to worry. It's far away in the future."
I just mean.
And then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, if it's so far in the future, why aren't they driving fancy flying
Okay,
cars? Why do they have fucking wheels?"
I'm just saying that even if it's not exactly 3 years, it's pretty soon into the future. Like it's not that far away.
I feel like this is the least important part of the movie. So
It's part of the lore.
What's the
it's part
answer,
of the
Zach?
lore.
Did I get everybody's answer?
No, I don't think.
Yes.
Did Ben say 3? Is that your answer? 3?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
boo.
my answer.
All right. The answer is 1 year old, and
yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Because the movie's only 3
You
years
can
old.
see on the sign when the movie opens, the sign states that it's currently the year 1984. And at the bottom of the Hall of Justice sign, it says that it was established in 1983.
Okay.
Might have done some rewinding for that one.
79 to 1984 is 5 years.
All right. It's not
Take
exactly
that.
3 years. All right. You got
Take
me.
that.
They shouldn't have said a few years. Okay.
Maybe a few meant something different
Should have
back
said
then
5 years.
in
Should
Australia.
have said 5 years later.
Let me nitpick the most inconsequential part of this fucking
None of it was
movie.
consequential.
Oh, I don't like that it only took
Nothing
place.
even happens.
It says only a few years.
None of it's consequential. Okay. I thought it was 3.
The man lost his family.
I thought it was 3.
How dare you?
How dare you?
A few means never less than 3, but could times mean a couple more. So 5 would fit.
So
That's
exactly
fine.
5.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
A couple
that's okay.
is more
That's
than-
all right.
How about that tiebreaker?
Yeah, let's
Time
get
for
the
the
tiebreaker
tiebreaker.
in the chat.
This one, looks like we got Ben and Dylan tied with a point.
I'm tied at 0.
You are tied with nobody at 0. You're correct. You're tied with me at 0.
All right, we'll compete for 3rd place.
All right. Speaking
I'm
of
screwed
the
'cause Zach
beginning
knows
of
the
the
answer.
movie, at the beginning of the movie, how many deaths had occurred on Highway 9 so far that year? Is it A,
Wait,
26?
not- This isn't how we do tiebreakers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will tell you it's more than 26, but it's closest to not going over.
Was it going to be
57.
26, 27, and 28?
You don't know that. I could have done 26, 28, 30. Or 26, 29, 32. You don't know me, man.
I like how he didn't say I could have done 26, 75, and 182. He's like, it could have been in the 10 number range.
I could have done
It's just
26,
like I could have kept it within
126,
2
or
numbers
226.
instead. Oh my
It's
god!
57.
You said
could've done-
57? Oh
Yeah.
my god!
You know
I feel
what
like
you
it
have
is
to do,
low
Ben.
key 56, but
You know what you have to do, Ben.
Well, that's the thing. I'm. What do you want me to say? 26?
27.
Like, say
Let's
56 or
27.
58 or something.
He said it's more than 26, so it's got to be at least 27.
Maybe he was going to say 26, 36, or 46. No, honestly, my first thought was like 54. I don't know why, but that's what I thought I saw.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sway it even
56.
after you tried to lead me down that road.
The answer is 57.
Oh, wow.
It says on the sign, welcome to Sector 26. We've had 57 deaths on this road so far.
I thought it was low, so that's why I was like, 57, weird. Because you always see like the roadway signs in America, and it's like, this has had fucking 400 deaths already this year.
Where do you
Buckle
see
your
that?
seatbelt, losers.
It's January 2nd, and there's already like there's been 800 fatalities this year alone. Okay,
It's on those digital signs.
a little bleak.
Ones
Yeah,
that
on
are
the
easy to
digital signs
update.
on the highway.
Imagine changing this sign every day. You got to drive out there scratch off the 57, put 58 on.
We've been 0 days without an accident. God damn it, that Max is out on the job again. We gotta go fix the sign.
All right, congrats to Dylan. Dylan takes the win, and that brings him back to be tied with Ben for our lead-in trivia wins.
How could mirrors be real?
Chance. This was my chance to pull away, and I blew it.
Well, that's not the only thing you blew. You
You
also blew a .08 on your breathalyzer test because we've been driving drunk this whole time.
Don't you put that
you
evil
think
on
this
me?
is North by Northwest?
Just pay the
Pay
$2
the
fine.
$2 fine.
They gave me a whole bottle of whiskey to drive.
No chaser.
No chaser.
No one has seen this film going in, so we're gonna get some fresh reviews. What did you guys think? What's your culminated review of Mad Max?
All right, yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet, kind of like the movie. I just didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. I liked Fury Road a lot better. This was not at all like it, which is fine. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but I just couldn't get into this movie at all. The plot was kind of weird. I feel like if you blink for not 5 seconds, but I feel like if you like check out for like 5 seconds and then come back, something totally new is happening, and you're not sure what. Honestly, I did not like this movie. I'm gonna give it a 4. I thought it was not good. I thought at least Fury Road was better. Maybe the ones in between the two are increased in quality, but I did appreciate the practical effects he had. But yeah, it just wasn't my thing at all.
Unlike Cam, I actually enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's fun. I think to counter Cam's like you look away for 5 seconds, you don't know what's going on. I don't think you have to follow this one that closely. You can. There is like more story to it, but I think it's more about the action sequences. They're trying to build a little plot, build a little world, and I think though I wish it was longer, I think the last 20 minutes where Max's wife and kid die, and then Max goes on his like vengeance is a dish best served cold rampage at the end, I thought really was worth it for what they put me through. So
What they put you through.
yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, watch it. It's on Netflix, so recommend.
All right, I have a similar opinion to Dylan, but I feel differently about it. I did not enjoy the hour they put me through of story building to get to what I felt like. I felt like where the plot finally needed to end up. I like what we said earlier about the conflict happening earlier in the movie, because I think there's too much world building. Like, I maybe need 15-20 minutes to get my feet wet and understand where we are. It's post-apocalyptic, whatever a few years later means. And then we can hit the ground running, give me a bad guy, and let's roll with it. I did think the action scenes were really good. I'm a big fan of practical effects. One pet peeve I have is when they're constantly cutting in between frames that are sped up and then going back to frames that were not sped up. I don't know, I get this weird like stop and go car effect when I watch it that I don't really like. But like the cars crashing and like driving through like mobile homes, that was awesome. That was cool to see. I just didn't find any real plot in this movie that kind of pulled me in. I also did not enjoy watching it, and I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm more so with Dylan that I really enjoy this movie. I love popcorn action flicks. I think it's just, they're the types of movies I grew up watching with my dad, and it just, they make me happy. This one just, it jumps right into it. The plot's just kind of there to guide you from car chase to car chase. Like, there's things that, yes, I would have liked stuff to either happen earlier or just keep a little bit less plot in it. To be honest, if I were to redo this movie, I'd almost just let Toe Cutter like get away and just let that lead into the sequel, because I just feel like it wasn't satisfying for what you want this movie villain to experience. And it's just like, oh, that was kind of quick and he made light work of that. You kind of want that challenge. But I still like the movie. Honestly, I finished this movie and thought to myself, like, man, now I have to watch the rest of these. Like I really want to see the second one now. I haven't seen any of them, and I really want to. I gave it a 7. It's what I love. It's cheesy action. Just inject it straight into my veins. I would watch that all day. Yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, if you like the action movies and you don't care that much about plot in movies, this is for you. It's not a classic drama film. It's a popcorn flick. And you know what? The world needs those too.
If you enjoyed this episode, rate, subscribe, follow, do all the good things. Help us out. Scratch our back so we can scratch yours. Funny thing about our back is it's on our dick.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Boo.
super bad? No? All right. Help us out. Following, leaving reviews, rating, sharing really helps us. Check us out next month. We're getting in some April Fools. Just terrible, shitty movies. So you can, if you liked all the Star Wars talk in this one, get ready for just awful trash. We got The Room, Food Fight, Harold and Kumar, our 420 episode. There might be some other influences on us during that episode. And Birdemic, Shock and Terror. Those are our 4 upcoming movies.
Birdemic. Oh, man.
Check
I haven't seen that one in a hot minute. Oh, man. It's going to be so good.
Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Tag us, but also use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics to send us your movie and drink recommendations. We want to hear what you want us to watch. We've got an open schedule, and if you like theme months, throw them at us. Share us with your friends and family. And as always, watch responsibly.